What's up, everybody? It's your queen, Mahogany Reynolds, Miss Just Be You. I am so excited to welcome you to season 6 of my podcast and talk show, Just Be You After Dark. I am so excited for this interview today because I am with a very special guest. His name, Eugene Campbell III. Eugene is a professional basketball player. He plays internationally, honey. Yes, he is very skilled. He's very gifted. He is an amazing team player. He's also a philanthropist. Just Be You After Dark that inspires you, encourages you, stimulates you, and empowers you to believe in the possibilities of who you are. Welcome, Eugene.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, Eugene, you are making history. Okay, I'm telling you right now, because for the first 5 seasons of Just Be You After Dark, everything was done virtually because we were in the midst of this horrible pandemic. And even though I wanted to interview a lot of my guests in person, it just wasn't possible. It wasn't safe. And so I was able to launch this show virtually and create an aesthetic that wasn't really out there before. My talk show is really designed to inspire you, to give people an opportunity to share their story, and to speak your own truth. Because what you have to share could be an inspiration to someone else, someone who is doubting themselves, someone who thinks that it's too late for them, someone who is struggling with some sort of trauma, or someone who just needs a pick-me-up. So my show is positive. Positive energy, positive vibes. I don't do hot topics. I don't have time for that. I'm a mother. I have my own hot topics. I don't do gossip, and I don't do sensationalism. I don't do any of those things to kind of like lure people in to watch my show. I feel that the people who watch Just Be You After Dark, they're here because they know that my light is bright and that I'm here for a good, meaningful reason, and you're also going to have fun at the same time. So let's get this interview started. First, I want to just ask you a question. When it comes down to being an athlete, I know that it requires a tremendous amount of physical strength, endurance, and stamina. Where do you get that from? How do you keep yourself fueled both from a physical perspective with your body and your wellness, but most of all, Eugene, how do you keep your mind strong in this journey as an athlete?
All right, so I'll start with the physical. So you gotta have a routine and you gotta be consistent. That's the only way, to help your physical physique, grow and maintain for the sport, especially the sport of basketball. A lot of calisthenics. You don't really have to do too much weights because that's more so like football, of being like really big and being able to withstand a lot of weight. But basketball, you have to be fast and you have to be strong as well, agile. I have a lot of alarms. I set a lot of alarms. It'll be like, okay, 7 a.m., run a mile. It'll be like 9 a.m., go to the gym, hit arms. It'll be like 10 a.m., stretch. Like I have a lot of alarms and I write down everything in detail from my schedule for what I have to do. And I do it on a consistent basis. So consistency and just having a plan and writing it down and actually acting on it. A lot of people, say they do X, Y, and Z, but you have to do it. The work always shows. Once you put the work in, you can't deny the results.
That's right. Once you put the work in, you can't deny the results. I like that. Now you said something about setting alarms. That's awesome because it holds you accountable.
Yep.
Right? Because you can tell yourself, I'm going to work out. I'm going to have a salad. I'm going to go to bed at a certain time. But then you get lost in life, especially with all the distractions, particularly social media. Now, we're using social media, ironically, right, as a platform for this show. But it still means that you have to find balance so that you're not scrolling randomly and idly on social media for hours when you can be using that time to be more constructive.
Yeah. For social media, I'll put a curfew on my Instagram, for example. After 11 o'clock, it just shuts down. I'm on sleep mode.
Nice.
In order to get where you want to go in life, you got to be disciplined. We got 24 hours out of the day, and it depending on what what time you wake up, you can have about 15 to 16 hours to be on social media, but you shouldn't be on that the entire day. In order for you, especially as an athlete, to play to the best of your abilities, you need to have a consistent sleep schedule. And if you're up late night at 2 in the morning scrolling on social media, you're not going to get that sleep, and your body's not going to be able to recover and repair the muscles for you to grow.
That's true. That's very true. So that's the physical. Does that also have a connection with your mental, your state of mind? How do you keep yourself strength in your mind? You know, because you're not going to win every game.
Not at all.
And we're going to get a little bit into some of the rejection that you've experienced in your career. So how do you keep yourself mentally strong and well?
So I would say, that's why I wanted to say the physical first. That's about like 10%. Mental is about 90% of, you know, being able to sustain and have longevity in your career. I'm very close to God, so I pray 5 times a day. Gotta stay, you know, motivated with that. I hold myself accountable, you know, with the time that I'm supposed to pray each and every day. I like to watch a lot of motivational videos. I like Eric Thomas. I watch his videos.
He can get amped.
Yeah.
He is in your face.
He gets me up in the morning sometimes when I don't want to get up. So.
And he doesn't he say, if I'm not mistaken, no excuses?
Yeah, no excuses.
He says that a lot.
Yeah. He said this one quote that always stuck with me. And it's a little extreme, but it definitely stuck with me. He said, you gotta want to be able to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And then he said a story about how, you know, somebody wanted to be successful, and the guru, he held him underwater. He held somebody underwater, and he said, what were you thinking when you were underwater? He said, I just wanted to breathe. And, you know, that stuck with me. Like, you got to be able to want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe. Yeah. And that has been, like, one of the quotes that stuck in my head, you know, leading up to my professional career. Yes.
You know, when it comes to what I do to make sure that I'm keeping myself balanced, I recently, and some people, you know, some people don't like it, you know, they just gonna have to deal with it. I decided that I'm done with texting for a while. I'm just gonna give it a break because I found it to be very distracting for me. I just found myself, you know, on my phone, texting someone or responding to a text, and then they respond back, and then I gotta respond back, and I'm like, well, why aren't we just talking? And I started to, and I have to admit that I had got caught up in the whole texting thing at one point, and I started to ask myself, is this really authentic communicating? And then sometimes you send a text and people misunderstand what you're saying. So then there's attitudes and things of that nature. I just decided, you know what, let's just remove that from my communication style and replace that with something else. Meaning, let's make time to phone call each other or video chat with one another. And you know what I do? I write letters. People don't do that anymore. Really get pictures in the mail anymore. I do those things mainly because I want to make sure that I'm not relying on technology to sustain meaningful relationships. Do I get it right all the time? No. Am I supposed to be perfect? Absolutely not. No one's perfect but who? God. Right? So we do the best we can while we can. And I think that it's wonderful that you set aside time for your spiritual wellness. I say this on my show all the time. Regardless of who you call God, it's so important that you have some sort of foundation, something that you do that helps you heal and helps you stay mentally and spiritually strong. Because we cannot do, I don't think we can do that by ourselves.
Not at all.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your journey.
Okay.
One of the things that made me very interested in interviewing you is I did my research, aside from the footage that you shared with me, which is awesome. I mean, your energy on the court is phenomenal.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I can also see that you care about your team, that this isn't about you, it's about us. And so I think that's very admirable.
I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. Tell me what happened when you were in high school with your aspirations to play basketball.
Okay, so I really wanted to play basketball for my freshman year of high school. I went to the tryout and I wasn't able to make the team. and definitely hurt a lot, but it helped me. And the reason why it helped me is because it gave me the chip on my shoulder that I have to this day. I feel like I needed that to happen. Sometimes people get everything that they want in life and everything goes so smoothly that they lose their why and they lose their purpose. For me, it was getting cut in high school. That put a battery on my back that never, left to this day. It's always on 100. Just the feeling of being rejected and being not accepted into a team where I felt like personally I was more talented than a lot of people who were on the team. So it fueled me that whole entire summer to work out every single day, to go to the park, even if, like, at the time I didn't even have a trainer, but I was just working out on my own, watching videos, and YouTube helped out a lot, and just watching a lot of NBA games. And then I came back the next season and I made the team. And after that, things went up from there. And then what was horrible for me, even after high school, I didn't get any offers to play in college. So I played high school, I had to start all over again. I had to walk on at a community college because I had no offers to play at a 4-year school. So the goal started from the beginning. Now is, okay, play at a 2-year school, do what I'm supposed to do there to try to get accepted into a 4-year school. So once again, started from the bottom. I made that team because I was already focused on, making the team. I was the 14th man out of a 16-man roster. It was a game where we were losing and the coach didn't know what to do. So he just doing random players, and I was one of the random players he threw in the game. And I scored 10 straight points in the third quarter to help us win the game. So immediately after that, I went from the 14th man to the 6th man. And, I played a really good season. Then the next year, I was in the starting lineup. And then after that, starting lineup, got all conference. All conference player means like some of the best players in the conference or in the league. And I was number 1 in the league in free throw percentage. And I shot 40% from 3, which is actually like really good. I think I was top 10 in the country in 3-point percentage. So I led my team in scoring, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage. Everything's going smooth. Then I didn't even get that many offers that I thought I was going to have going into a 4-year, so I had to start from the bottom again. So I had to see what I could do for a 4-year school, and I ended up walking on at NJCU, New Jersey City University, and then I started from the bottom again. So I'm the 15th man off the bench there, and then that was pretty much it throughout the whole season. I'm a 19, 20-year-old transfer student from a community college, and everybody on my team is like 28, 25-year-old freshmen, 26, 24. I'm like one of the youngest people on the team, but I'm one of the highest in grades. So yeah, so it was a little tough.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, knowledge is power. But on the bright side, my grades were very good when I was at NJCU. I had 2 4.0 semesters. I finished with a 3.76 GPA with my bachelor's degree. And I didn't get a lot of playing time those 2 years at all. But I didn't lose sight of the goal because I still had that battery on my back. So shout out to Coach Brown. He gave me the opportunity to be a graduate assistant to get my master's degree. So I was on the coaching staff of the college I played for at New Jersey City University. And I coached for 2 years and I got my master's. So I was able to learn the game from another perspective, and I was able to be a student of the game and have access to the gym all the time because I was a coach. And I didn't lose sight of the career that I wanted to pursue. So once I got my master's degree, I'm training. And to be honest, a lot of people, when it came time for COVID, a lot of people went backwards. I went forward, like times 10. A lot of people got lazy during COVID. A lot of people stopped working out. A lot of people gave up on themselves and on other people. Me, COVID put a huge battery on my back. There was nothing going on. It was nothing open, and there was no basketball events. Seasons were shut down, everything. So I was just running every day in the morning, working out 3 times a day, doing basketball drills in my backyard in a little space. And when COVID was, slowing down, I got the opportunity to play overseas. During that time of COVID, when it started clearing up, I emailed over 1,000 coaches overseas. I knocked on like 1,000 doors, and I got a lot of no's, and then I got one yes to play ball in Europe. Yeah, and I took full advantage of that opportunity. And when I got a chance to play, I led the country in scoring and steals and percentage, and then it kept going up from there. So now I'm playing in top leagues all around the world against former NBA players and Division I standouts, and they don't even know my story. So
Well, they know it now. They know it now. This is amazing. 1,000 applications and one yes.
Well, yes.
And that's how you need.
Yep.
That's how you need. I think that your story is very encouraging and empowering, mainly because the way the world is now, and I have to go back again to the social media context, we want likes, we want follows, and we want that external acceptance. So one like is like, nobody's really celebrating that. I am. I love it. I'm like, yay, somebody liked my video. I'm reaching somebody, right? And so for you to not give up on yourself and to be very clear that you have a gift, you have talent, and you have a goal. And you definitely have consistency and you have structure that you instilled within yourself. This isn't something that someone told you that you have to have. You naturally built this for yourself. And for you to not give up on yourself, even though you had a variety of reasons to just say, forget it. I mean, I'm not getting any offers, I don't feel like starting over again. I can recall in my journey pursuing different types of careers, modeling, acting, journalism, tons of rejection. I'm also a writer, so seeking opportunities to write, tons of rejection. You get the letters, right? Or the emails. But it's never stopped me from believing in myself. And that is one of the main reasons why I wanted you to be on the show, because you have so much internal courage. It takes a lot of courage. So let's talk about your experiences overseas. Some people don't want to leave the city that they live in right now. Some people have never left out of their own community, whether it's because they don't have the means or the resources, or it's because that's their safe space. They feel comfortable there. I'm not leaving the hood. This is where I'm from. Why I need to go anywhere. And so share with us a little bit about what it's like to be overseas, not just in terms of or in addition to playing as an athlete, but being who you are, just a person of color, a Black person. There's been a lot of talk, especially now, after January, about people saying, you know what, I'm out of here. And so a lot of people are packing up and they're leaving to live, internationally. Share with us what your experience has been like overseas. How were you treated? How were you received? How did you adapt to these different environments? I know you spent an extensive amount of time in Portugal. So share with us about that.
So, growing up, I literally attended about 7 or 8 different schools before high school. So, I've always been moving around. Always been a new kid on the block. Always had to adapt and adjust. I went to a school called Lutheran Procleo in 3rd grade. I was there from pre-K to 3rd grade. That was in Jersey City. Then I went to a school called St. Aloysius in Jersey City, 4th and 5th grade. In 5th grade, I went to a different school, my first public school, called Menu School. Went there for 1 year only. Then I went to St. Joseph's for 6th and 7th grade. Then I went to Assumption Catholic in 8th grade. Then I went to high school in East Brunswick. So I literally went to a whole bunch of different schools, and I was the new kid on the block. All of these schools were in different cities, and they all had different students. So it was no familiar faces that I seen in none of the schools that I went to. So I had to literally adjust to the school, to the people, meet new friends, adapt to a new environment, basically my whole life up until high school, where I actually went somewhere for 4 years straight. That was like the first time I went to a school where I had the same friends for 4 years. So when it was time to go overseas, I already had that, adaptability to learn to adapt to different situations, different places, and different people. So it was kind of natural when it was time for me to, play ball.
Yeah. Man, you know what? We had too much in common because I have a similar upbringing.
Okay.
a lot of instability, changing schools very frequently. Stayed in one particular elementary school, Markhausen Elementary in Detroit, which unfortunately they tore the school down. But I love that school. I can still smell the beautiful mahogany wood floors in that school. I can still remember performing on the stage in the auditorium for different plays and dancing classes and things of that nature. But after that, it's like I changed schools so many times. You remember a lot of the schools' names. I don't. And then even in high school, I changed schools a lot. So it was very difficult. Like you said, you're the new person. You have to start all over again. You try to fit in, and you really don't. So I've decided that I don't need to fit in. I've decided to just be you, which is the name of my company, Just Be You Performing Arts, which is my trademark mantra, be blessed and just be you. I have adopted that as my way of life. I instill that in my child. I teach it when I go out into the world and teach different kinds of classes, whether it's an acting class or a modeling class or whatever I'm teaching, a workshop. I really want people to understand that your journey is specific for you, and that even though you may not have everything lined up perfectly the way you want it to, you can use those experiences to create the life that you want for yourself. Yes. And you've done that. You have done that. That's amazing. When you went overseas, so you did have a hard time adapting. But what were the people like? Tell us about some of these places that you've been. What did it look like? What did it sound like? What did it smell like? What were the girls like? Well, PC, but still.
So, my first deal was in Moldova. That was in 2020, 2021, right after COVID. I would say me and my teammate were the only black people in the whole city that we were in. We were in a city called Ribnica. It was colonized by Russia, so it was like in between Russian and Romanian. It was about like a 40-minute drive from Ukraine. This is before the war. Mm-hmm. So they spoke Russian and Romanian in that area, and people were really nice. It was a very small town that didn't have a lot of resources as far as technology and what we're used to in America. They didn't have any like smart cars, Teslas. They were probably maybe like 3-4 years behind in technology, but they had a lot of spirit over there, and I really respected and appreciate that. They were really, strong-willed for their country, and they were very passionate about what they did. And they were very happy and excited for me and my teammate to be there. He was from Arkansas, but he's also African American, and so we, bonded, and we, similar looks, and we were the only ones that looked like that in the country. So, I still have a relationship with him to this day. A lot of the teammates that I had overseas, I've built bonds with them and still talk to them to this day. And that was the first deal. When I went to Armenia, things got a little weird, but it was cool. That's when I first experienced uncomfortable staring and racist things that were said to me. Yeah, but I mean, I dealt with racism growing up. I went to private school, I went to Catholic school, and I dealt with that. So it was nothing new. At first, when I first dealt with racism growing up in middle school, high school, I got into fights. I felt very angry, and I felt very sad and uncomfortable when people said racist slurs to me. So I used my hands to, take care of that situation. And it wasn't the best thing to do. I may have thought at the time it was the best thing for me to do, but, over time, as you get older, you just got to grow up and understand that sometimes that's just the way people are. The best way to cope with that is to ignore people, because now I'm at an age where if I do that, I can go to jail. So it's not even worth it. It's just words. People just talk. Just, walk away and ignore them. They just want a reaction out of us. As black people, they want a reaction out of us. They want to see us behind bars. Not everyone, but some people. So, you just got to ignore them. So when I dealt with that, I ignored it. It's crazy. When I was in Armenia, they had a really big fan base, really nice arenas. Definitely was a step up from Moldova. And I would get like racist DMs after the games or before the games. Like, people calling me a monkey and, all types of crazy stuff in my DMs after the game because they were mad that I won against their team and their city, and the fans overseas are very passionate and they're very vulgar and the way they talk. So they don't care. They're gonna tell you X, Y, and Z how they feel, and it sucked hearing that. But at the end of the day, it just motivated me to do better. I started making people angry after the game. Like I was like, okay, you want to do that? Now I'm gonna go to everybody's city on these road games, and I'm gonna give y'all 30 points and a win, and then I'm gonna just wave and smile to y'all after the game.
Sometimes, sometimes you do have to disappoint people by rising above their nonsense. Sometimes you do have to make people angry by being excellent. And you have to be committed to who you are, regardless of what it is they think you are, or how they want you to be, or why they think you don't belong in a certain space. And for you to have that type of internal strength, which is what we talked about early on, is so critical, especially now. The world that we're living in right now, some people, unfortunately, are really showing how they really feel, right? It's not as covert as it used to be. Well, has it ever really been covert? In some spaces, it's been covert. It actually was worse, at some point during the civil rights movement. So there's been these seasons where it kind of it wasn't so in your face, right? And then it kind of comes back around again.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to learn from history so we won't keep repeating it. And we all have gifts. We all have talents of some sort. And so when you shine, we all shine. So you being successful, say for example, if you had a talk show or a podcast and you were doing great and you had the subscribers that you were hoping for and your show was doing wonderful, I need to support that. I need to say, hey, go to his website, check out his show. Instead of me saying, you only need to watch Just Be You After Dark, everything else doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? Because we all have different voices, especially as African Americans. We have so many stories, and so much to give when we share our stories, because there are young people who need to hear these things. There's adults that need to hear this. Someone who's our age or older or younger, doesn't matter, that is in some sort of space where they're trying to figure things out. What do I want to do next? What do I want to do now? And so they need to hear stories of people being motivated to just get out there, no matter what people are saying or doing to try to stop you. In addition to yourself, that coming from within, in addition to your spiritual growth, who else in your life helped you develop this? Who else helped you learn how to believe in Eugene?
Definitely my mother. My mother is probably...
Shout out to moms. What's your mom's name?
Her name is Kim Campbell.
Miss Campbell, thank you. This young man is the real deal. He's amazing. What did she do what did she tell you? What did she teach you? What did she feed you? Sometimes mothers teach through their cooking. What did she do to help you learn how to believe in yourself and be motivated?
She always sends me motivational text messages. She'll talk my head off. One thing about my mom, I love her so much, so dearly. But she loves to wait as soon as I wake up and start telling me a whole bunch of stuff. Very positive things, but she would just as soon as I wake up, Gene, da 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 da, or as soon as I come home from practice, or as soon as I come home from anything, da 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 da. So she'll be waiting at the door, and she'll just pour a lot of things. Sometimes I would get annoyed, but I always listen because she was only telling me things that are gonna be beneficial to me and my future. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I'm at, especially with basketball and philanthropy. She's the one who helped me get my passport. So, she told me when I was in my sophomore year of college, I'm getting your passport because I think you're going to play overseas. And I didn't even think I was going to play overseas at that time. So she believed in me even when I didn't even know I believed in myself. So.
And that's what good moms do. We know it from the womb. We know and we are always hoping the best for our children. And we always want to set them up for success. So that's wonderful. Um, Now, I have to say this because it's just life. So we have people in our lives who motivate us, who encourage us, who speak good things into us. But then we also have the haters.
Yeah,
We
for
also
sure.
have the people who don't want us to succeed, who tell us, why you want to do that for? You can't do that. Why you want to go there? You crazy. Not naming names, but who are your villains that you've had to overcome? You don't have to say their names, but
Yeah.
situations that made you wonder, wow, they really don't want to see me do well. And despite that, you went forward anyway.
I would say one of my old coaches, when I started bringing up, playing pro, he said, "You'll never play pro. You're too small." And like, huh? I still think about that sometimes, and like, I haven't seen him since, but I want to see him again. I'm like, remember when you told me that?
Yeah.
And I want to see what reaction I'll get out of him. But a part of me doesn't really care because
Yeah.
I already beat the odds.
Yes.
So it doesn't really matter. Then I had another guy that I was cool with. We played ball together, and when I went overseas, he had hit up my coach and told him he was better than me, and said that he deserves the opportunity. And my coach told me, and then when I told him, I said, "What is this about?" He didn't want to take accountability for the situation, and instead he threatened to kill me when I came back home. And then when I came back home, I seen him, and he had none of that energy. And yeah, I was gonna confront the situation, but I was just being a more mature person because the old me would have definitely confronted that, and it would have been an altercation. But I just did it on the court, and he wanted to play defense on me at an open run, but he seen what I was doing that whole day, and he was scared to play defense on me because it was a cameraman recording, and he didn't want to get embarrassed, so he guarded somebody else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I was going, the way I was feeling, it was over for him.
Good.
I was going to embarrass him. But yeah, those two situations was crazy. Definitely the second one.
Yeah. And like, I had to bring it up because on Just Be After Dark, I tried to look at the whole picture, right? We want to celebrate the wins. We want to celebrate all of the success and the growth, but we also need to be real, and we need to be honest about the things that didn't go right, the people who didn't support us, not naming their names, but just making reference to it, because when you do that, it takes the power away. Despite the fact that you didn't believe in me, that you didn't think that I could do this, look at what I accomplished. And not that I have to prove myself to you, because I don't, but look at me and look at what I'm able to do without your support. So I think that that's very admirable. And you grew up in Jersey City your whole life, mostly?
Yeah, most of my life.
Right, so Jersey City ain't no joke.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, not at all.
Okay, so this ain't Kansas. Not to say Kansas, I don't know. There might be some places in Kansas that ain't no joke either.
Yeah.
But I grew up in Detroit.
Yeah, I know.
So
Detroit,
you learn real quick how to speak up for yourself, how to defend yourself. And I feel like growing up in Detroit taught me at a very early age to know who I am and to not allow other people to define it for me. So I think that's wonderful that you were able to overcome that and still just move on with your life. I mean, you're over in Portugal in the sun. You ain't got time for that.
Yeah, I don't got time for that. And the reason why they doing that is because they hating, because I'm over there and they, stuck wherever they're at. So
Right.
I be thinking about stuff like that.
Right.
I don't want to entertain them because then I'm just stupid down to their level. That's what
Right.
they want me to do.
Right. And we will hope that at some point people will have an awakening and that they will realize it's to my benefit to be encouraging to my brother or my sister instead of me trying to pull them down so that I can climb a little bit higher. Because you may get up there, but it's not going to last.
Yep.
And it's not going to have the same substance. And it's not going to have the same meaningfulness. Let's talk a little bit about relationships. Now, with all of this moving around and traveling, you're a young man, you want to go to the prom, you want to go to the school dances, you're like, oh, I got to start school all over again, meet new people, and then you grow up, you become an adult, you're moving around, you're going overseas. How in the world do you learn how to build relationships in that type of constant movement?
A lot of FaceTime. A lot of FaceTime calls. and just talking. Even though I play overseas, sometimes you got downtime. You know, when I was in Jordan, for example, Friday was a holiday. Friday was always nobody had work. In the Middle East, nobody works on Fridays or Saturdays.
What?
They go back to work on Sundays. I had to learn that.
Okay.
Yeah. A Friday is like a Saturday here, and a Saturday is like a Sunday here, and then a Sunday is a Monday, and the week starts with Sunday. Sunday through Thursday.
Wow.
Thursday night, everybody goes out. That's like their Friday night.
Really?
Last day of work, nobody works on Fridays.
Hmm.
So, you got that downtime on the weekends, pretty much. We never had a game on a Friday or Saturday. And when I was in Europe, we had games every Saturday and Sunday. So it was different. Our games would be on Sundays, Tuesdays, and sometimes Thursdays. Yeah. So a lot of FaceTime, a lot of talking, and just being consistent.
Okay.
You can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Yes.
If you really love that person and they feel the same way about you, you can make it work. And I was only gone in Jordan this time for only 5 months. When I was in Europe, I was gone like 9 months to a year or 2 years. And they could always come visit,
That's true. That's true.
You could always, fly that person out and have them come out for a couple weeks.
Nice. Is it a different feeling to be in the States and maybe go out to dinner or go to the movies on a date versus being internationally and doing the same thing? Is it a different kind of energy?
Definitely for me, I'm well known in Jersey, so I don't feel like I gotta look over my shoulder and somebody saying what's up to me or somebody knowing that I'm around. When I'm in Europe or Middle East, Africa, wherever I play ball at, I don't have to look over my shoulder. It's like a sense of relief, just free. I don't have to worry about anything. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Nobody's worried about me at all. Like here, I could go somewhere, I'm always gonna see somebody I know in Jersey. I can go to the shop right, I'm gonna see somebody I know. It's kind of annoying sometimes. I like being low key and not being known.
Right, right. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. So, I'm gonna get a little bit in your business, just a little bit. Sometimes relationships can be distracting, depending upon the quality of the relationship and whether the person really understands that you have a calling on your life. There's things that you are assigned to do, and they say, well, wait, what about me? What about me? I need to come first. You need to spend time with me. We need to do this. We need to go here. We need to wait. What are you buying me? And so how have you been able to stand in a space of clarity about this is our relationship, this is my career, this is how we're going to balance those two things?
Well, fortunately for me, the love of my life, I've been with her like on and off since high school. I knew her since my freshman year of high school, like since I was like 14 years old. So she been around and seeing me through everything, all the good and bad times, through high school and college. She knows everything. Like if she listened to the story, she's like, I already know all that. It don't even matter. Like she'd be like, why are you sending me these interviews? I already know all that.
Yes, yes.
But like it's just jokes. But yeah, she's been around through everything. She's been on FaceTime with me, all the countries I've been to and everything. So
Yes.
I was lucky to build a foundation with somebody for almost 15 years. So yeah.
That's beautiful. Love is just a beautiful thing. I talk about it a lot on Just Be You After Dark because I think it's a little bit missing, intimacy and
with social
holding
media
hands
and the way
and
everything is
cuddling and just connecting with one another. It's almost like a lost art, and we have to keep that alive. You have to spend quality time with the person that you love, even if you are far apart. You have to find ways, because I know when you're overseas, there's this huge time zone difference. You got to figure this thing out. We got 1 hour right here that is daytime where you are and not too late at night where I am, or vice versa, so that we can connect and spend some quality time together. And I think that's wonderful. We're going to take a short break, and after the break, I am going to wrap up this interview. I myself am very motivated to continue pushing forward on the things that I want to accomplish because of your story and your testimony. So we'll be right back, and we're going to finish up the interview, and then we're going to play a little game.
All right, Cool. I look forward to it.
Okay.
www.walkamounourshoes.org. Walkamile, W-A-L-K, A-mile, A-M-I-L-E, the letter N, not I-N, ourshoes.org. We do services all over the tri-state areas, as well as Baltimore and Maryland. And we also have social media platforms all across the board, and you'll be able to keep up with all of our community service events and anything that we have in the future.
Okay, so Eugene, we're going to play a game. Okay, this is something that I do with my guests occasionally, and it's just like a fun way to get to know you a little bit more. And also, it's like going back into self-awareness and being aware of who you are and what you stand for, what you believe in, and what you like. So I want you not to second guess yourself, to say the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you these questions. Some of them are a little fun and silly. Some of them are a little bit serious and a little deeper. But we're just going to play this game for a little bit for the end of our interview, okay? All right. So the first game is called the Who Am I game. All right. So I'm going to ask you a question about who do people say you are. Okay. So my mom says I am
Funny, always talking back, loving, and motivated.
awesome. My father says I am
Silly, don't always clean up after himself, always using his stuff without asking, and fun to be around.
nice. My girlfriend says I
Annoying, always playing all day, always think I'm right, always trying to do the most.
What? I love it. I love it. My coaches say I am
Very hardworking, punctual, persistent, leader, sore loser, and always trying to figure out a way to win.
I say I am
Strong, motivated, very confident, intentional, put together. Still got a lot to work on, but always willing to learn and grow.
God says I am
Consistent, humble, definitely annoying because I go to him a lot, and very, very loving and very supporting of not only myself, but praying for others around me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So here's the next game. So the next game is I just want you to just answer quickly a few of my favorite things. First thing that comes to your mind. Some of these questions are being more like rated G, but some of them might be a little grown up. I mean, after all, the show was called Just For You After Dark. Okay, we're all adults, right?
Yeah.
I'll keep it very classy, but I'm just letting you know a little disclaimer ahead of time. Okay, a few of my favorite things. My favorite sexy slow jam song is
Buy you a drink, T-Pain.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel you. Okay. My favorite TV show to binge watch.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Nice. Now, are we talking about the original or have you seen the new one?
Yeah, the Bel-Air, I've seen it.
Okay,
It's
good.
definitely a little darker than the
Yes,
original one.
it's leaning more to the dramatic side, right?
Yeah.
So okay, that's a good show. Okay, wonderful. All right. My favorite food to binge eat.
Snack or food?
Snack. What's your
Ice cream, vanilla bean.
Nice.
Yeah.
All day with the vanilla bean.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You eat it with cookies?
Nah, just by
cake?
itself.
Just by itself. No caramel on top? Just it's fine, just the way it
Just the way it
is. Fantastic. How did you deal with that when you went overseas? Were you able to find favorite foods and things of that nature? You just had to adapt to what they offered.
I had to adapt, but they had fruits. I love pineapples, so I had a lot of pineapples and vanilla wafers. I love vanilla wafers, so they had those.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my favorite movie of all time.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Paid in Full.
Tell me why.
Just a story of somebody that started from nothing and he became so powerful and he was really smart about it and despite him getting shot in the head, talking about the main character, Ace Boogie, he still found a way to get himself out the game. You know, he was really about the money. A lot of people wanted the greed and the power and all that. He just wanted to make money and be low key. And then like the other characters like Rico and Mitch, they kind of wanted to be flashy and show off and do all of this stuff. Like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of me. Like, yeah, I'm wearing this watch, but I don't really wear jewelry like that. I'm kind of like a chill dude, and I like to be low key. I don't want people to know, what I got going on. So the character kind of reminded me of me how I grew up, just being simple and be behind the scenes.
Yeah, simple, behind the scenes, low key. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. My favorite room for intimacy.
Hotel. I mean,
Now, you probably been in a lot of hotels because you travel so much.
yeah.
Yes, but then when you're overseas, so you're there by yourself.
I got an apartment.
Nice.
I lived in a hotel when I was in Peru. They paid for a hotel because I was there for about a month and a half. But when I'm overseas 8, 9 months, they give me like an apartment, like a nice 1 bedroom.
Nice.
Yeah, the apartment would be nice. Like the apartment I had in Jordan was beautiful. Walk-in shower, balcony, big, huge bedroom.
Wow,
Huge, yeah.
love it. And you get your FaceTime on.
Yeah, I'm chilling.
Yes.
Nice big living room, central air, central heat. Chilling. Yeah.
Okay, so one last game. You're gonna pick which one. Okay. Pick which one. All right. So candlelight or the red light?
Candlelight.
Candlelight. Champagne or like a hard liquor, like a vodka or something like that.
Champagne.
Champagne.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Would you serve if you were cooking dinner? Are you going to serve something from the surf, like steak or chicken, or something from the sea, like fish or shrimp?
Fish, shrimp.
Okay.
I like seafood.
You like seafood?
When my mom was pregnant with me, she ate a lot of seafood.
Yeah. So that kind of like got in you and influenced your palate a little bit.
I love seafood.
Okay.
Nothing against the steak and the chicken, but I love seafood.
Okay, so for this quiet time, this low key time, just you and her, lights on, lights off.
How you saw?
You have been a delight.
Thank
you for being here. Thank you for being who you are and for believing in yourself. Because we need people like you. We need people who are able to come out and talk about the struggles that they had and their hardships. So we're going to end this with you just sharing about your philanthropy. You have an organization where you do good things for so many people. I personally appreciate that. As a philanthropist myself, I know that hard work. Okay, yes. I know that hard work very well. It's a lot of hard work that does not get thanked sometimes. And sometimes you run into people who don't understand, why are you doing this for free? Because I want to give. So tell us about your organization and tell us why you started it and how we can get involved to be supportive.
Okay, cool. So welcome on our shoes. I actually got my shirt on.
Nice.
So I started it while I was in university, when I was in grad school, my first year of grad school. Me and my mom talked about the idea of giving back. She told me you should really give back. I feel like you can really change the world. So, at first I'm like, that's a good idea, but I don't know if I can do that right now. I'm a full-time student. I'm, coaching. I'm trying to pursue a basketball career. That's when I realized that my time management skills were pretty good. So, I talked over it with a couple of friends, my cousin, and, we came up with the idea, hey, we should start giving back to the community. So a colleague of mine went to Newark, New Jersey, one of the most homeless populated areas in New Jersey. And we had a bunch of sneakers. I had sneakers from my house. He had sneakers from his house. We put them in like ShopRite bags. This is around the time when people still had ShopRite bags.
Right. The bright yellow ShopRite bag.
Yep. We put them in the bags and we went to a homeless populated area by the train station. And we helped over like 15 people. And that day, I felt really good afterwards. It was really cold. It was about 18, 19 degrees. I'll never forget that. And I felt really good after. I'm like, yo, I really want to keep doing this. So, my colleague of mine, we went to New Brunswick. Then we went to Jersey City. Then we went to Hoboken. Then we went to Patterson. And we kept going to different cities around Jersey doing the same thing. I had been on campus for people to donate sneakers to. First 2 3 weeks, nobody donated anything. When we started posting on social media the work we were doing, the people started seeing it and they started donating. I even took matters into my own hands once I made the logo. I was, hammering the thumbtack on poles and putting them in the school library and putting in every building so people could start to see, that we're giving back. And I just was motivated and driven to get the word out as much as I can. So then after that, we started, going all over it. Then I joined the fraternity. Once I joined the fraternity, they started really pushing it. And then I would say my first year in the fraternity, they made my nonprofit the national philanthropy of the organization. And then we just kept moving from there. And I made it a 501c3 in 2021 and just been growing. To this day now, I've been on NJ Monthly. I've been on TV twice. I've been on News 12. I've been on multiple radio stations, multiple articles about what I've done with the organization. We've been to cities all over New Jersey, whether it's North Jersey, South Jersey. Been to Philadelphia, which is a PA, and we have regions down in Pennsylvania, in the Philly area, South Jersey in the Camden, Atlantic City area, North Jersey, where my team, where we originated from, and we've even expanded to Baltimore now. So now we got a team in Baltimore, and we just keep growing. And our idea is just giving back one day at a time, change the world one day at a time. Giving out sneakers, brand new and gently worn sneakers, clothes, toiletries, care packages, water, food. We got somebody on our team that's a chef, so he prepares meals when he's, at the service. And we changed the lives of so many people. And, it's a great feeling in my heart that I've been able to do that. And now I'm connected with mayors and councilmen. So it's only up from here. We got a lot of big things coming up this month and next month. And around this time of the year is very busy for Walkabout. So we got a lot in store, and y'all stay tuned because we got a lot. We got a lot to show. So.
I love it. I love it. So and I love the shirt. I love your swag. I love your style. I love your jewelry. You look nice and clean and fabulous, just like I told you to. And we coordinated accidentally. So this is beautiful. I want to end our interview by saying I want to show gratitude to your parents, especially your mom. I lost my mom, and thank you. And it's been difficult. It's been very difficult. And so at this point, everything that I do, I'm always thinking about, would this make my mother proud? And other family members that I've lost as well, I always think, would that make them proud? Right? You want to stay true to yourself. You have your art, you're a creator, things of that nature. You have your content. But at the same time, I'm always conscious of, is this going to make them smile?
Yeah.
And I want to tell you a little story. So this decor, this is a JBY candle and a mug, which you will be getting as a thank you gift. I'm going to customize it for you.
Okay.
So this one is for like the setup, but I'm going to make one specific for you with some things I'm going to put on there, some inspirational words. This fabric, I use this fabric when I did a praise dance at my mom's homegoing service.
Wow.
Every time I do an episode of Just Be You After Dark, my mother is sitting with me. So I use this. My mother was very vibrant. She was very bold and outspoken. She was a lot. And if you couldn't handle it, too bad. She did not apologize for who she was. And so she really is a lot of who I am as a person. And so that and other people who fed into my life in positive ways, taking those bits and pieces from people who really do believe in you, who try to encourage you, and then even taking bits and pieces from the people who don't believe in you and turning that into fuel to push you forward. So I want to let you know, Eugene Campbell III, thank you so much for being on Just Be You After Dark. I have really learned a lot, and I cannot wait to interview you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
I definitely look forward to being back.
Thank you.
You can turn your head just a little bit. Hey, keep your eyes on me. Yeah.
You only see it, turn your head.
I love it. That's true. You got to give all the
I gotta get all of
directions.
it. Yeah. Eyes on me. Tilt this way a little bit. Here we go.
Just Be You After Dark with me, your host, Mahogany Reynolds, the podcast and the talk show that inspires you, encourages you, stimulates you, and empowers you to believe in the possibilities of who you are.